Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1. It is a Terran versus Terran. Between two very good ones at that, and down in the bottom left position spawning as the blue Terran player from Team Liquid, we have TaeJa. And his opponent in the bottom right, the red Terran from Team Empire, it is Kas. And of course, every time we cast Kas, we have to play the fun game of how many command centers will he build this game. I, personally, am going to predict 8. I probably won't remember my prediction of 8 by the end, but I'm sure someone in the comment section will remind me at the end of the game. They'll be like, no, Madals, it was actually 7. And to clarify the rules of this game, it's the number of command centers he builds. Not orbit commands or planetary fortresses, but just how many CCs are made. They don't have to be at a base, they just have to be constructed. They don't all have to be active simultaneously either. There's just how many they make. So if he makes his natural, it gets killed, remakes it, gets killed, remakes it, gets killed, remakes it, gets killed. That's 4. Get it? Cool game. Fun. What's your prediction? Let me know. Anyway, these two. It looks like TaeJa going to be going into a fast factory because he's getting his gas before his barracks. Meanwhile, Kas is just like barracks up, very normal stuff, don't want to be doing anything too crazy. Now, this is of course Newkirk Precinct, which means Reaper's pretty good. You can come in there, you can Reaper it up, not up there, but you come around there and up in there. Also, drops are fairly cool too because you've got a lot of area that you can drop into, and that is why this supply depot is here for Kas. And I realise I really went over the top with my boxing of that there. You can always tell when I've been playing a lot, by the way, because my observing skill changes from being like just a nice, slow, delicate observer, be like, we're looking at this, smooth scrolling everywhere, and let's get everything looking nice and poetic and cool by zooming in and stuff, to just being slightly manic, just like looking everywhere, be like, oh, look here, Spidey, but boom, 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 boom. Because that's what it's like when you play. And of course, yeah, I don't know what my point was. I was just telling you a cool fact, because TvT, when both players aren't proxying, is pretty slow to get going. I'll be honest with you there. Like, it's how TaeJa is playing at like 200 plus APM here. It must all be spamming. Let's look at TaeJa's vision right now. What is he doing? Look at all of this. This is TaeJa's point of view right now. This is how much TaeJa can do in the first 3 minutes of the game before he even has a marine out. Just pretty substantial. Just clicking around, making sure that he's making SCVs, going about things fairly normally, getting his factory up, checking with the marine that any Reapers aren't coming up, but of course that is all TaeJa's point of view. We can't watch this whole game as TaeJa, although that could be quite fun. Anyway, we do see here Kas now just coming in. The SCV is going to realise the wall off is complete. The marine fighting cannot see the factory, of course, because TaeJa has put it far enough back that it cannot be spotted. Kas, on the other hand, he's getting down the reactor, he's getting down his command center, so will have a better economy, as long as, of course, this 1-1-1 play coming down doesn't just kill him. It's going to be some Widow Mine drops from TaeJa coming in, and that can be fairly devastating if they connect well. But a little time before those come out, of course, Kas is going to know by not seeing a command center or anything like that, and seeing a full wall off, that hang on, something fishy's going on here. But he doesn't care, he's getting done his command center anyway, and he's just going to get out of factory and just be like, I'll make a ton of Marines. Marines are good units. They should win me the game. Except, unfortunately, TaeJa can also make Marines, which is why TvT is ridiculously imbalanced, because both players can make Marines, and that's just cheating, right? No, it's not right. Marines are cool, they're absolutely balanced and fine. And because I don't have a camera on, you can see I'm saying that with a straight face. I always love that Marine is... I'd say Marines is probably the most complained about unit as being Imber, just because it's the only tier 1 unit that is both ranged and can also attack air. Fairly strong. Anyway, more Marines just sitting out here for Kas at the moment. He's getting down his starport, but his command center's finished. Meanwhile, the first medevac just about to pop. The Marines and Widow Mine load up in, and booster goes straight over there. Can't be safe having that many flames coming out the back of the engines. It really can't. Like, no matter what the technology is. But anyway, supply depot there, and there means there really actually isn't much room. Medevac could skirt all the way down the bottom, and kind of come in at that angle is really the only way it could go. But not going to worry with that. Just going to come straight down. The Widow Mine burrowing. Oh, be careful, Hellions. You've got to be very cautious at this point. The Marines are going to try and chase down the medevac. Always scary, of course. The Hellions sitting there, getting ready. Quick little boost comes down, and now looping around, going to try and escape out as quickly as possible. So this drop hasn't done too much. The Widow Mine dropping out, going to reburrow up. That's going to force a scan should this orbit command want to come and land. That's very frustrating. Of course, this one lone Widow Mine still just sitting there, so can be a bit of a pain. And ooh, the medevac coming in to save Widow Mine. Good guy, TaeJa. Not going to leave a single unit behind, robotic or not. So, Cloak coming down, Banshee on its way, Tech Lab on the factory command center, all things going nicely, all things going good. And yeah, for Kas, he's just sitting up here at the moment, not really worrying too much about anything. He's got his orbital command, going to try and float it down, and then realise, hang on, I can't land it. That's going to waste a mule. So actually, wasting a mule for a borrowed Widow Mine, I would definitely say is worth it, like 110%. Now, Kas is going in there, flew straight over a Widow Mine from TaeJa, which if it burrowed faster could have been good. But Marines are there. Are they going to be able to get the kill? No, because Kas is paying attention. And Kas, did he just spot? I think he did see the Banshee. Going to try and focus that Tech Lab, but no chance that he can get that, especially when there's that many Marines there. So straight away we see that pulling back, but a lot of Hellions on their way through. And if this supply depot is down as the Hellions come charging up, that could have done some nice damage, but the tank for TaeJa is going to stop too much else happening. Now, this orbital command still just sitting up here. Can't land. That's really quite frustrating. We also have the 6 Hellions running around, the armory coming down, so this is a mech play that's going to be on the cards now, most likely. So yeah, Banshee just doing a bit of damage, the missile turret in response just to the Cloak Banshee being there, but a good little scan means that the Banshee going to take a good couple of shots of fire. Will it go down? Not quite. Survives with just 20 health, but it's got to be careful not to come back in range of the scan. Doesn't. Good news there, but missile turret is up and running. Meanwhile, TaeJa has got his orbital command down, and third CC already started. Oh, he's playing Kas at his own game here, making as many command centers as possible. Kas still only at 2, remember, of the game we started at the start. And what did I say? Was it 8 or 6? I think it was 8. Anyway, orbital command landing down there. Gonna start trying to pick off that annoying little Widow Mine. Very cool play here. To avoid having to waste the scam, attacking the orbital command with the Hellions to kill the Widow Mine first, but then having to use the scan anyway to deal with the Cloak Banshee. And doesn't even deal with it. TaeJa managing to escape that out of there. Empire Kas so far losing 450% more resources than TaeJa. Otherwise known as 450 to 100. It's not that I'm a mathematical genius. It's just pretty simple maths doing that. So yeah, if I work out percentage later on, maybe at like the 20-minute mark if we get that far, then you are fully allowed to be impressed. And you can tell me that in the comments section. It's always good to hear. Anyway, we do see that, yeah, Banshee just still wandering around. Banshee number 1 coming back to get repaired, actually, which I really quite like. Kas pumping out +1 vehicle weapons. Meanwhile, TaeJa just going for a bit more of a standard Marine tank composition. Sort of thing we expect to see. These Vikings that have had enough of the Banshee do snipe it off. Decent number of Hellbats around. 2 Hellbats there. 2 Hellbats on the low grounds. A double Hellbat drop going to be coming down from Kas here. And is TaeJa going to be able to defend this? Well, TaeJa, he shouldn't have too much trouble. He's got a good number of Marines and these Banshee around. But he's also got this third orbital command. That's going to allow him to pump out, obviously, 3 SCVs at a time if he wants. But also gets the additional mule down. That's really quite nice. The bunker as well being placed defensively. Double engineering bay prepared and ready in order to really just start chucking down those double upgrades and getting things moving along relatively comfortably. Work count 46 to 44, currently in TaeJa's favour, so not a huge lead, but this double Hellbat drop could be in a bit of a tough spot because there's a missile turret coming down as well as this bunker which covers most of the mineral patch, so these 2 medevacs would have to be very careful, especially with the tanks there too, but they are going to just start going in. They get attacked near instantly, decide to pull back as they see just how many units are there, and I think that was a smart move there by Kas not to take too many more risks. And Kas, busy driving down a couple more factories. There's his 3rd command center, don't forget. But the Banshee here, actually for TaeJa, is only picking away of units. TaeJa's killed 4 SCVs so far this game, compared to the 0 SCVs that currently Kas has managed to kill. That's not too bad. Good scan comes down. We'll pick off that Banshee, but that's at least the 3rd, if not 4th scan that's been forced by TaeJa, just really making those Banshee be incredibly irritating. So if it is 4, that's over 1,000 minerals that really Kas doesn't have now, that obviously we'll still get later, but it just hurts his income for quite a while. TaeJa landing down his 3rd, quite a bit earlier than that of the 3rd of Kas, because Kas is only just morphing his orbital command at the moment, but 1-1 are on their way out for TaeJa, whereas Kas, he's busy getting +2 vehicle weapons, so different upgrade paths, different strategies entirely, mech versus marine tank, and currently TaeJa, I would slightly say, is ahead because he's got this third base secured a little bit earlier, and he's also getting double upgrades, which just means that he will get an upgrade advantage and then overtake. There'll just be a small period where obviously +2 vehicle weapons is done. But second armory could come down fairly soon. We do see the armory for TaeJa already getting started, so he's immediately prepared to start 2-2. The second 1-1 is finished. He's going to knock down this cooling tower, potentially, or not. He just decided to attack it for a bit and then run away. But Banshee does get taken... doesn't get taken out. Ooh, this Banshee with some nice play will get a couple of SCVs, forcing a scan once Kas has one available. But even though it's only a couple of SCVs, it's still frustrating. This Banshee should have been taken down fairly quick, but there we go, is knocked out as he's baited towards that missile turret. But TaeJa now having killed 9 workers, he's got a fairly good lead, 65 to 52, 13 worker lead at the 14-minute mark is definitely something that we're going to be happy with. So 1-1 is done for TaeJa, 2-2 should get started fairly quickly, and it does literally as I mouse over it, so always good to see TaeJa. TaeJa's on the ball, and yeah, Kas, he secured up his third base, no fourth command center started yet, just producing a lot of tanks, and I mean a huge number of tanks at the moment, 3 at a time getting pumped out, and that's because TaeJa's actually got a good tank count, 7 down for him, but it's these Hellions that could be a little bit concerning. Yes, there's a bunker down, but these are a lot of Hellions moving forward. Unfortunately, not being controlled by Kas at the moment, so 2 go down for literally nothing, and that of course is not too great. The resources lost tab though showing pretty equal on both sides, only 7 difference between them, and TaeJa gets a really nice siege up position there, dealing a huge amount of damage. Of course the Vikings are picking apart all of those medevacs, which are pretty essential. The tanks for Kas as well at the back are being quite helpful, but the Vikings now demolished. We see the infantry starting to move forward, going to just go straight for these tanks. There's only 1 sieged up in the moment, and that means that Kas really holding on. The tanks moving forward are going to try and win this fight. TaeJa does have the numbers advantage as well as some infantry from behind. A good number of SCVs getting taken out, and Kas being forced to retreat is not what he wants. Yes, he's got a tank up on the high ground, but it's not able to engage these units. TaeJa definitely doing enough here because he's getting up his 4th command center already. So he's got map control. He's denied the 3rd for a little while, and is expanding behind it too. These Hellbats trying to get dropped down, but the tank's doing a nice little job of stopping that. 1 tank out for Kas on the low ground, 2 more following it down. So I'd say TaeJa now definitely solidifying his lead. Still 13 workers ahead in army supply 2. The upgrades 2-2 is about to finish up compared to 2-0 for Kas. That's a good upgrade lead for TaeJa. He's even called down some mules to repair up these tanks, understanding the value that these tanks have as the numbers increase. So really smart move. They're sieging up just to make sure they stay alive, getting a couple of shots off with vision granted from that Viking. While the scan goes down, Kas is out of range. We see it now, a quick little drop up into the main base. Will focus his tank on the high ground. Very frustrating counter dropping of Hellbats, trying to get on top of them. Such intense action. TaeJa still playing at around 300 plus APM during most engagements, which is fairly intense. And as we can see, the Vikings coming in are going to try and pick off this medevac. It can boost away for a short time, but the missile turret seals the deal and takes it down. Now, tank lines looking fairly good, but Kas as well. He's now got the tank advantage, 8-5. We'll get the scan off just to say, okay, what's here? The problem, though, for Kas is he can't really push into this too easy, because if he unsieges the tanks trying to move forward, well, 1, the Viking gives vision, and 2, there's a lot of infantry which would just snipe that down. But nice little reposition from TaeJa's army here. He's got 2-2 and 3-3 on the way now too. That means that he's getting a good little position. He's going to start trying to arch around. He's still ahead in terms of the SCV count, although not by quite as much, and he's going for it. Sees Kas is on siege. He's pushing in the tanks, though some sieging back up. TaeJa doesn't want to engage unless he can pick off tanks. Against this siege up force of Kas, he's got to be so careful. So glad to see that he's being a little bit cautious with what he does, just using this infantry where and when he can. Still rallying all the reinforcements across. TaeJa has completely stopped SCV production, has for quite a while, just sat at 63 for most of this game. Meanwhile, 58, and still 3 more at a time coming out here for Kas. He wants that income, a scan being used, does pick off a tank, very nicely done, but a big drop up in the main is unable to deal too much damage because of the amount of Hellbats. But TaeJa, with a small force position behind Kas's army, he's got the surround. Kas can't move out safely. Scans being used on both sides. 1 tank gets taken down on both sides. So resources lost. Still fractionally favouring TaeJa at the moment, but not by a huge amount. Ooh, keeps that up, very nice. Those 2 medevacs were considering going for the drop, but with only 3 Hellbats, the infantry could deal a lot of damage. Kas completely contained, getting sieged at this orbital command, and if that goes down, it will be pretty tough. Kas as well now. He's just pumping out units as quickly as he can, but it looks like TaeJa wants to go for it. He's coming from both sides. This is a great little engage, and he's trying to pick it all out, but Hellbats on one side will save it, but the Orbital Command takes a lot of damage, trying to get repaired up just as quickly as damn well possible, and this could mean Kas keeps it alive. But once again, knocked down 9 workers behind that of TaeJa. TaeJa haven't killed 25 so far this game. The Hellbat's going to be coming to drop from Kas on top of the tank line, but the infantry at the front dealing some nice damage. The SCVs even getting involved in the fight. Kas looks like he's going to start being able to break through this. He's pushing forward as hard as he can. The Vikings dealing some nice damage, but the Hellbat's really tanking up enough damage. However, 3-3 is 3/4 done for TaeJa already. He's getting his 4th command center down, and Kas, he's still sitting there just as the 3 orbital commands. He's not been able to secure a 4th yet. Meanwhile, TaeJa's had that for a long period of time. His income significantly higher. He hasn't even needed to take the 7th and 8th gas geyser quite yet, just due to the simple fact that he's going marine tank, whereas Kas needs all of the gas he can possibly get with this mech force. The sensor tower coming down for him just in order to know any movements to come around. He doesn't want that surround to occur again, but there's the scan from TaeJa. TaeJa is up fractionally in terms of the supplies. He's also got these 3 tanks in a very awkward position to deal with, but a quick little pickup means that the Hellbat's going to drop on top and start working through them. A lot of Hellbats here are going to do some nice damage, but that's opening up the side for TaeJa to just move in. 3-3 done for this infantry, and he's dealing with these tanks so quickly, hugging up on them. Most of those tanks get taken out, and that actually leaves Kas with only 2 remaining on the field, and as a meching Terran, only having those 2 tanks is not too good. The infantry trading really nicely against these 2-0 mech forces. 3-3 versus 2-0 is a huge upgrade lead, and that's really what's showing here. The medevac count pretty damn high too, and that's just allowing really TaeJa to get in a good spot. He's got his 5th command center already down, placed in the 5th base. TaeJa just out expanding his opponent, ahead now hugely in terms of the army, the worker supply, 63 to 45. The army supply relatively equal, but with the upgrade advantage, TaeJa has just a good point, going for this drop in towards the 3rd that is now being taken, sorry, the 4th base that has now been taken from Kas. So he's halfway to my predicted 8 command centers that I said at the start. But this game, getting into the later stages, TaeJa definitely still coming out on top. Even though he's lost a bit more, his economy has been better, and he's preventing Kas from getting up that real late game force. But small little splinter groups like this aren't going to be too good, but the double drop at the planetary that's morphing at the 4th base location could just be enough. The Hellbat's getting back, and the planetary is going to get taken down. Big loss there for, of course, Empire's Kas, because the 5th base is up and running here for TaeJa. He's still sitting at 63 SCVs. He's getting down his fusion core. Let's all see the fusion core dance, because battle cruisers could be about to come down. It would be very cool to see. +3 vehicle weapons on the way out for Kas. Now he's realizing that he's let those upgrades slip a little bit. 3-3 for TaeJa has been done for so long. He's also got ship weapons level 1 half done, ready for those battle cruisers if they do decide to come out. But infantry just trying to come from every angle. The Marauders able to pick apart at that gas geyser, and of course without that refinery, it means that quite simply there's only this one here and the 4 others in the main. But the main, one of them mined out, the other one getting fairly low, and mech just so reliant on getting a good gas income. We do have a Hellbat drop though, dealing considerable amounts of damage here. Kas killing off 15 workers with that drop. Very nicely done. Yes, there's a good number of mules here for TaeJa, but he can't afford to just throw away units for nothing, even when he's getting out the battle cruisers. The cattle bruisers are going to be making their way forward, but TaeJa just trying to keep this contained up. Kas may not allow it to last for too much longer though. Moving forward, these Hellbats know some units are up here. Sees it with the Vikings, and of course TaeJa now being forced to retreat. Yamato cannon is on its way. The fusion core dance is occurring. Let's all take a look at the fusion core dance. Give it a good little look. Very cool. Now, anyway, TaeJa, he's coming in towards the natural, dealing some nice damage. A tank trying to siege up, but out of range, and that means SCVs are going to get killed here. That is problematic for Kas. He loses another refinery, and losing those refineries just means that, as I said previously, his gas income is really getting hurt. Pretty much double the gas income for TaeJa at the moment, and he doesn't even need it because he is going mech. 2 Banshees working through as many of these tanks as possible, and with the Vikings there, nothing really can be done to stop it. And this is such a problem here, because as the Vikings are defensive, it's going to be really, really awkward for Kas to break through. He does have 5 Vikings up against the 9 of TaeJa, being forced to land them. Not ideal. And of course the drop coming once again up towards the 4th base location. This is still 5 bases for TaeJa. He's still 56 to 39 workers, and he is still getting out as many battle cruisers as possible. He's up to 2. The 3rd one about to pop. The drop getting picked up once more. And this is just really being TaeJa's contained the whole game. This is the 5th command center, remember. Kas had to remake it, but He is doing a good job of picking apart these units of TaeJa at the moment. Even though there's some coming from behind, they're just going to run straight up towards this tank. They're 3-3, remember, so they're very strong. +3 about to kick in for vehicle weapons. 8 seconds away, a single lone Thor. They're dealing as much damage as it can, but not before a couple more Hellbats go down. TaeJa now making his 6th command center. He's getting there. He's definitely macroing it up. Not making any more SCVs, which he needs to be careful of. If another drop goes down, he'll get very, very low. But it's allowing him to free up more supply for army. These battle cruisers coming up on in. The missile turret trying to deal some damage to it. Yamato cannon not even being utilized as of yet. The Viking count is the problem. Once the Viking's down, it'll be fine. This Thor not switch into high impact payload, but it's going to take hits from Yamato cannons. Is going to go down. The one battle cruiser very, very low, will get taken down by a missile turret. And of course, this is Kas now just pushing forward. He knows he can't effectively deal with the battle cruiser quite yet, but he can just go and hopefully deal with the ground army. But infantry picking off half of it, half going either side of this cliff area, not too good. The battle cruiser still doing its utmost to pick off these tank reinforcements as quickly as possible. And TaeJa, with more battle cruisers constantly being pumped with +2 ship weapons, just 30 seconds away from completion, is looking to be in a very comfortable spot this game, working apart all of these tanks. And yeah, Kas, he's not looking too good. 47 supply to 99 army supply of TaeJa, 90 to 152 total. Really, things just looking so damn good at the moment. The Planetary Fortress even going to start taking some damage here. Vikings trying to engage. The missile turret about to finish on the far side, but out of range. And of course, the SCV building it was taken down by this battle cruiser with only 18 health. Needs to realize what's happening. Needs to start picking off some more of these SCVs. But TaeJa's attention is with all of his infantry moving in. Yes, the battle cruiser's gone down, but there's another 2 making their way forward. These Thors aren't in high impact payload, which just means that they don't deal effective damage against these battle cruisers. Could do with getting switched to that. Of course, the difference is 9 damage per attack compared to 30. And Kas there with the GG. The mana mules from TaeJa. TaeJa wins the game. So I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did, make sure that you liked the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. And I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.